In the past, one thing that I did right was I make a lot of friends. I didn't create too many enemies. Malaysia has the needed talent, even though there are not too many, but we have that talent.
2024 has been wow for Malaysian small cap index, hitting a 10-year high as we speak. It's one of the best performing markets in the region. I've wanted to dive deep into small cap stocks, but I didn't know where to start. Then, I found RHB Small Cap Jewel 2024 edition, packed with all the insights I needed. Get your copy with the link in the description. After flipping through the ebook, I was hooked and I wanted more. So, I'm interviewing the CEOs of these small cap companies. It's going to be a fun and engaging adventure as we uncover the stories behind these small cap gems. Let's see what treasures we can uncover together.
Today's episode is probably one of the most important episodes for FAQ show because this company is a very hard company to invite because the founder and CEO, he has a very busy schedule and he's always overseas. But thanks to RHB Investment Bank, our sponsors today, we work very closely to try to bring today's guest to the show. And today, I'm so honored that I managed to get Mr. Ng on the show today.
I think first, thank you, for giving me this airtime. I've been contacted like 2 months ago,
Right.
But the last 2 months was really busy for us.
Maybe we can go into what have you been doing in the past 2 months. Before that, I want to share some background. So when we talk about Penang, Penang is always referred to as the Silicon Valley of Malaysia.
Yeah.
But very often, a lot of all these tech companies in Penang, they involve in the low-end kind of business. They are in OSAT, testing and assembly. They do EMS, that kind of things. And there are very few Malaysian companies involved in the high-end side of things, design and stuff. And we all know that in the tech business, right, most of the money is on the high-end side. I think 80 or 90% of the money is there. So that makes Oppstar a very interesting company because you are one of the very few Malaysian companies that are in this space. So first of all, you can share with us what does Oppstar do in this high-end segment in the tech industry?
So first of all, I think the low-end versus high-end is a kind of maybe categorizations, in the industry, right? I think if you look at our segments by itself, right, IC design has been in Malaysia for more than 30 plus years. It has been in Malaysia since 1986 or 1987. Unlike in manufacturing, IC design is a highly niche, very technical. It involves quite some specializations, right? Therefore, in the past 30 plus years, our industry is pretty much dominated by all the big MNCs. Yeah. And therefore, you do not see that many local engineering company that venture into this area. I sincerely hope that, with the government's friendly policy, right, and also, the government highly promoting to venture into these higher value segments, I sincerely hope that we can see more and more local company.
Right. So in the past 30 years, this space, this high-end space has been dominated by MNC companies,
Yes.
people like Intel, AMD, and whatnot.
Yes.
For Oppstar only founded in the year 2014.
Yes.
So it's just 10 years ago. But yourself, I understand that you have been in the business for 20 over years, 30 years, right?
Yeah.
So perhaps my question would be, what took you so long? what took you so long to come out and then start this business and become the forefront for Malaysian, like a Buatan Malaysia kind of initiative?
Okay. Again, this is my own experience, right? You can only use it for reference, right? For myself, in my late 40s, right? I know I hit my last cycle of my career, right? So I have reached an inflection point. I asked myself, what I want to do before I retire, right? So there are two options. One is I continue to work in big MNC and then, retire in a big MNC. And the other option is while I still have the energy, while my experience is still very relevant, I can at least come out and do something of my own, interest. And I choose the later one. if I choose the Formula One, then you will not see Oppstar
you
today.
not see Oppstar today. But the question about Malaysia is always hard to get talents, and you are in the high-end side of things, right? So how do you find all these talents that work at Oppstar and continue to design all these interesting chips for the customers?
So first of all, Malaysia is a small country, right? Our population is small. But I think what makes Malaysia unique is this industry has been in Malaysia for so long. Semiconductor has been in Malaysia for more than 50 years, right? I know in the early day, the focus is in the manufacturing, right? Then 1986 or 87, we have this IC design, right? So even IC design has been in Malaysia for more than 30 plus years. And in these 30 plus years, this industry has created group of very experienced IC designers.
Oh, in Malaysia itself.
In Malaysia itself.
Okay.
I think this is very unique in Malaysia compared to maybe our neighboring country, even in Asia, right? So Malaysia has the needed talent, even though there are not too many, but we have that talent. For a company to be able to be successful, you need to find way to search for this group of people.
Okay, that's the thing, right? You have the big boys, Intel, AMD, and all that. In 2014, you just started Oppstar. Probably people at that time was like, who is Oppstar? I never heard before.
Yep.
Why would they want to join Oppstar?
Yeah, so what I believe is if you work long enough in your industry, regardless of whatever industry, right, you tend to have followers. They tend to have someone who like the kind of way, you work, you treat people, you envision things, right? So they will be your follower. So I look back, I was in multinational company for 26 years, to be exact, before I started, Oppstar in 2014. And I look back in the past 26 years, one thing that I did right was I make a lot of friends and I didn't create too many enemies. So this is something that I feel I've done it right. Therefore, when I first started, in fact, our first 2 years, we only bring in experienced designer, because when a company is new, the company has no profile at all. So we have to bring in all the ex-colleagues and friends who shared the same visions, shared the same ambitions as me to join me, right? We only started to hire fresh graduates like 2 years later. So it's very important to know who are the experienced guy who can form a core team member in a technology company.
From a company that has 3 co-founders, today you have a team of 300 designers in Oppstar. I guess that's how you slowly build up the team, right? Oppstar just came out from 2014. You don't have a corporate profile, so people don't know what you can do and whether you're reliable, that kind of things. So how did you actually secure your first contract to give your customer that confidence that you're able to deliver?
When we are very, very new, when the company was just incorporated, the founder's profile become very important. We have to pick jobs that less complex than what our engineers can deliver. To give you an example, our engineers, they can do a lot more, right? Because we are new, we have to settle with a lower profile types of job to start with. What is important is you need to have an opportunity to prove yourself. But if you can't even get into the game, then how are you going to prove yourself? So the first projects, we go in very low profile, we bid for very profile types of job, right? But we put in people who are a lot more capable. That is how we started. Through the output, the result itself, then our customers start realizing, hey, we can do a lot more. That's how, they continue to give us more jobs.
Okay. So today, 10 years later, do you mind to share who are your largest customers?
So in Malaysia, most of the customers, they are multinational company that is based in Malaysia or based in Singapore. Those normally go for very, very advanced types of design, right? Another group of customers that is based in China, and some of those customers are very big, in China. This year alone, right? Since January, we started to set up an entity in Japan. That's where we started to go into Japan market.
From what I understand is instead of setting up, you actually acquired some Japanese companies, right?
Yeah, yes.
Those are established companies, or are they new?
The company that we choose is a smaller company, quite new. And the good part of that company is they come with, they call it a Hakken or a certificate that, they can bring in foreign engineers.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So that's where the value of that
Yes.
acquisition comes in, lah.
Yes.
Is there a specific objective why you want to acquire a Japanese company and not Chinese company? Because most of your customers are in China.
In fact, we have entity in China as well.
Okay.
So our headquarters is in Penang. We have an office in KL, in Cheras, a Velocity 2. And I think 2019, if I'm not mistaken, we set up Oppstar Shanghai, fully owned subsidiary. And then beginning of this year, we set up Oppstar Japan. So we have 2 overseas offices.
Yeah. So is there a specific reason why you want to go into Japan?
So Japan is a very unique market. First of all, Japan used to like semiconductor leader back in 1980s, right? And at that moment, they were very, very strong. But due to whatever reason, right, I think they lost the glories and lost the leadership as well in today's situations, right? But the Japanese government, they are very, I call it, ambitious. They want to make a comeback, and they put in quite some, I call it, incentive to bring back their semiconductor leadership. So that's one thing. We see that opportunity, right? In fact, TSMC is building
Yes.
fabs, 2 fabs in Japan. I think one is going to be operations by
End of the year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we can see, they are very aggressive. Second thing is Japan is an aging populations. They have many very senior IC designers or engineers, right? Similar to many advanced country. A lot of youngsters, try to avoid this engineering, and therefore they are running short on this I call it young engineer to do the implementation.
There's a generation gap.
Yeah. So this is where we see an opportunity for a company like Oppstar.
Okay, then again, right, today you have Oppstar Japan. I mean, even in Malaysia itself, you are just 10 years old. So in Japan, I'm pretty sure not many people know about Oppstar.
Yeah.
And I think since I can get a hint here and there that probably you are eyeing at TSMC as your final objective, or maybe surpass them to build your own TSMC or whatnot, right? But if let's assume that your aim is to get TSMC as your customer, and then Japan would be the stepping stone for you to get there. What would be the effort for you to get closer to that objective?
So I think we have been helping our customers to design using TSMC's foundry, right? So we set up in Japan because we want to access, to the business opportunity there, right? Whether they are linked to TSMC or linked to Samsung or linked to other foundries, right? So of course we continue to work with our customers, right? Purely from the business point of view, because to do business in the foreign land, you need to have local presence. Say for example, in the past we actually work with our business partner in Japan to access to the Japan's customers, right? And we found it not so, I call it direct, because you need to go through another level, right? So that's what we decided to go into that market, by our own self, right? So going to Japan is, from the business growth perspective, right?
So you want to have a direct access to your customers.
Yes.
So that would be your first stepping stone. And then hopefully once you have a track record there, then you can go and bid for bigger jobs.
Yeah, yes.
Okay. Just now I mentioned that people in Japan may not know who is Oppstar and whatnot. I think that was an underestimation because today you are so well known in the market that Samsung Electronics decided to partner with you guys to come out with a series of products. Maybe you can share with us what is all this collaboration about?
Samsung collaboration is actually another so-called turning point, for a company like us, right? I always explain what Oppstar is doing up to this point is helping our customers to design projects, right? What we charge our customers is called NRE, non-recurring engineering fees, right?
Okay. It's a one-off project.
It's one-off
Okay.
when the project is done. But if you look at some of the pure play IC design market leader, especially in Asia, right? NRE, especially like sales of IP or the NRE charges, make up maybe 10-20% of their total revenue. Okay. The other 70 or 80% of their revenue comes from when the products that they help their customer to design starting to gain market tractions, and customer will need to order products or order units, right? That's where they are making their recurring revenue.
Okay, so Samsung Electronic to Oppstar is that agent?
So we have signed, a contract, with Samsung, right? We can help our customers to tape out products, to Samsung. So you can say, you are close to that, yeah. So from our business model perspective, in the past, we never get into, tape out and all those, right? Just our job is done when the design is done. Then we deliver the software database, to our customers. Then it's considered done, right? But with the foundry relationship, we can go beyond, just the NRE types of business model.
If building this company is like a journey towards the end target, right? For the first 10 years, you have built your reputation. I think you have successfully done it today. You even able to partner with Samsung Electronics, and then you are trying to aim at big customers like TSMC and all that. But you also mentioned that there's actually 70%, 80% of potential that you haven't tapped. What can investors expect in this next step of your journey when you tap into this 70 to 80%? What are the challenges that you may face? But once you overcome all those challenges, what is the end goal picture look like?
First of all, in Malaysia, maybe we are, considered the biggest IC design, local IC design company, right? But if you open, the country gate, right? We are still very, very small, okay, compared to all the regional guys, right? Being small and only doing, part of what the big brothers are doing, I see a lot of potential. There's still a lot of growth opportunity to grow big, right? But of course, there are still a lot of, I call it hard work. IC design is, we are helping our customers to turn their product specifications, right, that is written in words, into layout artworks that contain of a bunch of electronic components.
Okay.
And after work is done, right, when the first silicon came back, right, we still need to spend a lot of efforts to do targeted system level of testing. It's not the old set types of testing. So when the first engineering sample came back, before it can go to mass production, you need to build targeted systems. You need to write software, okay? And then you need to put this engineering sample into targeted systems. I need to run a lot of checking, performance, power, electrical, So we also moving, aggressively into these segments, that is very related to design.
Okay, which is now you're not doing lah.
We are doing it now.
Okay, you're doing it now.
Yeah.
Okay, so apart from designing, now you're also into all this kind of
Yes.
system level testing.
Yeah.
Is that something that you're going to expand further in the next 3 to 5 years, or is it already smooth sailing along the way?
We are in the early phase,
Okay.
at this moment, right? And we hope, can become a business segment by itself. Yes.
Okay. So I look forward for that. But nonetheless, what would be the next 10 years be?
I talked to my team,
Right.
that from startup to IPO, right? I call it 0 to 1, right? I mean, we have gone through that, right? If you ask me, I hope, right, our next growth is not like 1 to 1.5 or 1 to 2. I would like to see if we can go like 1 to 10. Because as I mentioned, we are still a very small company, and there's still a lot of growth opportunity for us in multiple areas, right? It's not easy. The success, is pretty much relying on how much effort we put in, whether, all the strategies and plans that we put in, really hit the market, you know, and give us the kind of return, right? So if you ask me, of course, you know, I'm going to be, you know, how to say it, very ambitious, right?
All right.
Yes.
Okay, so
Yes.
today you have 300 designers in
Yes.
Oppstar. In order to grow 1 to 10, do you think you can grow with these 300 people, or do you think that this one needs to grow by 10 times as well?
No. We have to go into a business model that is more recurring
Recurring.
rather than brute force. I think this industry you cannot brute force. Right? I understand many investors, when they look at us, they always ask, how many people do you have? Then immediately, you know, per engineer, how much they generate. I always tell them, this shouldn't be the way to go.
Yeah,
Right?
because very hard to scale that way.
Yes, right. And we also do not want to scale, you know, using that types of model. We want to add value. We want to do more innovative things that can bring us a higher return.
That is the reason why Samsung Electronics is a very important partnership for you.
You can say so, yes.
Okay. Any other potential partners apart from Samsung?
I think at this moment, because we cannot say things that is not announced. Yeah.
All right. Okay. So read in between the lines. I understand that tomorrow you'll be having Oppstar AGM. Not too far down the road, you'll also be releasing your quarterly result. I'm not sure what their number will be, but I hope all the best. You know, hopefully it can give our investors and potential investors an impressive number, and from there they can continue to do their research and find out more interesting things about the company and decide for themselves whether they want to invest or not. Again, today I'm very honored to have Mr. Ng today to come on the show. Really. This one, I need to thank our sponsor. I also need to thank you for giving us the time to have this conversation together. Thank you so much, Mr. Ng.
Oh, thank you.